Thank you for introduction, and I'm super honored to be here today. So, how are you today? How is the conference going? We have, I think, a couple of more sessions after me, and that's it, then party. So, before that, I have a couple of things on my mind that I want to share with you. I'm going to be talking about designing for impact and why beautiful design is not enough. So my name is Vladimir Koncar, and as you can see from the picture behind me, that I'm an adventurer by nature. Usually, when I find myself deep in the midst of unknown, I'm kind of embrace it with both hands as a possibility to learn and to explore. And this is what I'm going to talk about today. Our ability to learn, to explore new ways, and some of the methods we need to integrate in our process so we could practice or create viable products. So these are all roles that I've been through over the years. I'm actually a design partner and entrepreneur. This is how I see myself. And I have more than 15 years of experience in a field. So I have this split personality because in 2003, I was still in college and I started Studio Revolution. That was a design and development boutique studio agency. And over the time, in parallel with our work, with our client work, we tried to figure out a way to kind of create a product. And we were kind of working on a couple of ideas. We managed to produce them, to create that product, but we didn't know what to do else and why we are doing this product and what we can do with it afterwards. And over the time, one of these ideas kind of transformed into a startup. It's called Amodo. It's a core product. Its core product is driving analytics platform and driver engagement technologies for the insurance companies. And 3 years ago, I joined Five with a merger. So I work as a design team lead there. And this is actually me in my early days, being a superhero designer, fighting my way, saving the world. And I can tell you, it was a wild ride. And why? Because in the same time, I was running the business and trying to be a designer, to figuring out how we could actually do better products. And I failed a lot in that process, actually. And from these failures, I learned a lot. What I learned was most from these failures. So my role through these years changed from individual contributor to kind of a leader. So I started to design from how it looks to how it works, to actually design for good. And this is actually what I believe today. I believe in doing good for the user, good for the business, and good for the community. For those of you who don't know about Five, Five is a product design development agency founded in 2007. We are working on US market for some of the big brands like Rosetta, Marriott, Napster, AccuWeather. And our mission is to build products that create meaningful experiences and to create returns for our clients. And I believe that all starts with the design. So what I learned so far, and what I value the most in a team is a culture of appreciation and learning. It's the humility to admit that you don't know. That's the secret ingredient that can make a big difference. When you align that need for learning with the right set of methods and processes, the possibility of successful outcomes grows exponentially. So design is a team sport, and if we are looking at it through a sports jargon, this is not a sprint. It's not a fast-paced sprint. It's a marathon at least. And I'm a ultra-marathon runner, and I can tell you how well you prepare for yourself for that race and for the finish line. It's really tricky to get there and actually to cross that line. So I'm proud of my team. I work with a fantastic group of 18 designers. They're coming from different backgrounds: engineering, user experience, user interface, research. And together, as a team, we are focused not only on learning new practices and delivering products, we are we are focused on determining what made anything successful, and most of all, what made anything unsuccessful. So how many designers are in the audience today? Oh, it's better than I thought. But I thought developers would come because I think they need to learn this stuff as well, so I'm kind of disappointed. So how many designers do you have on board your team? 3, 1 to 3 maybe? Okay, more than 3, less than 10? Okay, more than 10. Okay, just the guy from 5. Okay, and how many of you are working on a product that you think is going to make a difference? Oh, 1, 2, 10. Wow, we are changing the world, so that's good. Well, teamwork, that's how every process starts. Everything starts from a team. So my question would be, how many were you in a situation where you get a design or feature requests to develop or to design without any kind of validation, any kind of research? So, okay, 1, 2, okay, we need to do better. So does your team design a solution without research every time, or is it like just, you know, deadline is tomorrow, we need to do it by tomorrow? Or is it like day-to-day practice? Day-to-day? I need to talk to Gorian. So do you work with a team that has that digs through data on your product, or have any kind of KPIs while you're doing something? Okay, one guy, that's unbelievable. So if most of the answers was yes, then you should ask yourself if this is a team worth fighting for. And I know that in Croatia, we don't have such opportunity to work in this pace that you have time or have resources to do research or to validate those ideas, but you should fight for. And that's what you need to maybe start to do when you are back on Monday and doing that work. You need to kind of try to maybe change this mindset, and try to fight for that. So I believe that design is a great catalyst for a change. And to ship great products, you need to move from a genius designer or genius developer that has all the answers, and kind of move to a place that you're a part of the team and you're a facilitator of that team, and you're the one that kind of pushes for those changes. That is the most important part of working within a team. And I believe that the designer role is to help everybody on the team to understand the users and the problems that we are trying to solve. Designer needs to define the problem space, build a shared understanding within the team, someone who empowers the team to solve the problem together. So do you actually know what it takes to build a successful product? How will you lower your risk of failure? What is success, actually? So today I'm going to show you some of the processes and methods you can use to increase your chances of success, because we don't know what the success for a product is. It's always a different one. So let's talk a bit about technology. Our relationship with technology is changing. In the last 10 years, it's become an essential part of our lives. So who remembers their first mobile phone? Oh, come on. This was actually mine. It was 20 years ago. I think Zuckerberg was 14 years old. So a long time ago. But do you remember brand Nokia? That is the question. For a long time, I was trying to figure out why Nokia failed. Does anybody want to answer that? Okay. Management failure. Okay, yeah. They kind of failed, but they failed. Maybe they had everything they wanted. They were one of the biggest brands in the field, and they actually had, I think, in the end of the 90s, they had a prototype of a working mobile phone that was touch-enabled and internet-enabled phone, and they failed. They failed, but they failed because they didn't understand the importance of software at that time. They didn't understand that they need to build a product that people wanted to buy, not just some kind of tool that you want to have in your pocket. So they underestimated that at that time, a power of software. So in 2000, we got the first iPhone, and everything changed. Apple and Android crushed Nokia. It was horrible to watch. And 11 years later, we have a supercomputer on our wrist. So it's a watch that functions as a standalone phone. So how crazy is that? I probably couldn't imagine something like that 5 years ago. So when I looked at how technology is changing and advancing our work in emerging into fields, in the different fields, like machine learning, voice interfaces, or mixed reality, I see vast opportunities for us as designers beyond pixels. So when I look, that's something that we need to think about, beyond pixels. And we need to use those opportunities to change our mindsets and to change how we worked before. And we need to evolve, and we need to try thinking about business perspectives. So today, the first thing we interact in the morning is our smartphone. So these machines are becoming an extension of us. They're becoming our memory. And how many phone numbers do you actually know by heart? Probably 1, 2, your family, and that's about it. If we dig into data and see that there are 7.6 billion people on Earth today, and we have an active market of 3.7 billion people that actively use smartphones, that's a large, large market. And when you see how we use these machines, we see that we use it on average 3 hours a day. And half of the time we spend in our is spent in our most loved applications, and the other half time is for everything else. So when you look how we touch our mobile phones, we really like them, because we touch them 2,600 touches per day. That is approximately 32 touches per use. So we love it. We love to touch that. So I know we do. I touch it every day. So on average, we touch our phones every 12 minutes. And more than half of these sessions are 30 seconds long. And more than 40% of sessions within an app are less than 50 seconds long. And in the same time, if you look at the number of more than 2 million applications in Apple Store, you realize that the competition in this field is enormous. And then that this window of opportunity to gain that trust of users is very small. So having plenty of downloads is a significant metric. But having users that actually use our product is what we aim for. And how do we find our way to our customers? How do we do it? Today, the most expensive part of building an application is actually acquisition of these users. So it's easy to have an idea. It's easy to kind of have a team that's going to build it. But how to get to user, that's maybe the most expensive part. And I can tell you from my 15 years of experience that making a product that people like to use, it's not an easy job. It's really hard work. The need for meaningful experiences is more significant than ever. So having a brilliant idea, great visual style, perfect animation, incredible code is just not enough. That's the baseline today. And why is the baseline? Well, because our users are used to using applications like Airbnb, like Facebook, like Uber, and they want that experience. But how can we compete with these teams like Airbnb? That's the really toughest question. Most of you said that you're working on a team that you have like 1, 2, 3, 5 designers on your team. Airbnb, for example, has more than 1,200 designers on their team. They're working on their product. And just to put it in perspective, it's probably 5 to 10 designers working on one part of the application, one flow, maybe one screen. They're trying to solve the problem. They're trying to figure out what is the value that they're going to bring to the user, how they're going to treat them to gain their trust. And that is the question that we need to answer. So the only way to compete is by asking the right questions at the beginning. I believe that good product design balances technology opportunities, human needs, and business requirements. If done right, design can open valuable opportunities for businesses. The research and prototype stages of design process can generate new products, can allow you to discover your customer needs. Design can help you turn ideas into innovative and competitive products. And in the end, design can be also used in your company to improve your processes. And as you can see, product design is a blend of different skills. It's a hybrid between design and strategy. Designers are here to help identify, investigate, and validate the problem, craft the design, and deliver the most viable solution. So while using the product, the user perceives just a couple of layers up there. But the complexity of product expands through all layers. So today, if you fail just in one of these layers, your product will probably fail. So let me show you how we learn from our mistakes. So does anybody know who Ministry of Sound is? They started as a nightclub in London and developed into the worldwide multimedia entertainment business. So we created an app for them, and it was beautiful. We made it perfect, perfect code, perfect animations, perfect design. Everything was amazing. We received awards. It was featured as an app of the day. Unbelievable story. And one day, stakeholders came to us and said, we are going to shut down the product. And we were stuck in our office and thinking about why it happened. And, well, our product magic didn't bring any value to the business. And that was the problem. So we were missing one piece of the puzzle that was most important to them. And we didn't tackle it. We were just trying to, be perfect agency that delivers perfect product that's going to get awards. So no matter how cool was the design, innovative animation, or bug-free code, the product failed. All that pixel perfection couldn't replace the money brings back to the business. So this is when our transformation into data-informed process kind of started. So our role as designers is shifting towards strategic partnership with our stakeholders. We are moving from pixel-perfect execution towards the business strategy. And our purpose is to kind of figure out what is the best possible future for our clients or our companies, and how we can achieve that, how we can become better in predicting the future. We all fall in love with our ideas, and the first step to success is by killing our darlings. We all have them, I have them. I love these icons, I love the arrangement, I love everything, but actually I'm not solving the problem with this. So we need to question everything what we do, validate these ideas, test them on real users, and collaborate as a team. Learn fast from our mistakes, and create process that we trust. We need to start at the end. For example, Amazon is one of the companies that's working backwards. Jeff Bezos insists for all new initiatives that the product manager writes an internal press release. So it's a couple of page process, a couple of page document, and if the press release has a good response from their team, it's a big possibility that it's going to be as successful as a great news service. So that's like a simple, cheap, and fast way to validate your idea. So from my experience, the design is not a linear process, and there is no one-size-fits-all solution. Within these three stages, product discovery, product improvement, and product development, we will talk about a blend of activities for gathering relevant data, processing the findings, and exploring possible directions so we could focus on a viable solution. To visualize this complete process, I'm using revamped version of Double Diamond process, or it's originally imagined in 2005 by British Design Council. So in order to discover which idea are the best, the product process is iterative. This means that ideas are developed and tested and refined a number of times. This is like the main product process. This cycle is an essential part of a good design strategy and good design practice. For every business challenge, so we need to tailor our approach by picking the right activities to reach the desired outcome. So let's focus on product discovery. Discovery is all about deciding what to build. In 3 steps, we need to understand strategic business initiatives, uncover the needs, challenges, and possibilities, and define desired results. I always insist in creating an insightful and goal-oriented plan for an idea validation and preparation of product delivery. So why is the discovery important? Nobody wants to spend years working on a product only to discover at the end that nobody's going to use it. So that's why we are going to do it. And you want to establish clear business goals and metrics in this process. You want to understand what is a successful outcome. You need to dig deep and do a user research. You map that customer journey and find those pain points. Check the competition, see what's going on in the market, research different markets as well, find possible connections. So every successful product has this eureka moment. For those unfamiliar, it's an aha moment. It's the moment when user realizes why is this product helping them? What's the real value of the product? And that's like a really emotional moment. So if you try to remember how are you solving puzzles, and that moment when you really figure out where you're going to put that last piece, that's that moment. That's like really emotional one. So you need to find that magic moment for your future product. You need to discover why your product is a must-have. For example, Facebook aha moment is instantly seeing photos or news shared on your wall from family or friends. For Dropbox, it was the concept of easy file sharing. And if you think about Uber, it's you click a button and car arrives and that's it. So it's going to help you. Do you know what's your aha moment on your product you're working on? Do you have it? If you don't, you should kind of try to figure that out. It's really important. And at the end of the process, of discovery process, you should be able to answer the following question. What is the problem we are trying to solve? From who are we solving? Why should they care? What's the vision for that solution? Do customers want our solution? Are we meeting business needs? So our goal throughout the product discovery is to learn fast, instead of learning after we ship a solution or product that nobody wants. Here's the example when we use Discovery Workshop for Marriott as a method to validate their idea. Their goal was to produce a game for HR department. So Workshop is often great as a format as it gives you opportunity to quickly align with all stakeholders and business goals. So after user testing and research we did, their initial idea proved to be not viable, and they gave us an opportunity to kind of work on new ideas. One of the proposed ideas was a chatbot, and after user testing, it proved to be the best solution, so we decided to build it. And the results were amazing. So we had like enormous engagement with the chatbot, and we built a tool that increased the efficiency of recruiting and staffing department on a global scale. Almost 80% of users came back and tried to kind of re-engage in the conversation. So actually, that was great. And one metric that I'm most proud of is 4-minute average conversation length, because industry standard is like a minute. So we were really proud of the work we did. And when I started my career in design, I didn't imagine that I'm going to actually design this kind of conversational experiences, because there are no colors there, no UI elements, just pure experience. So let's jump from discovery to delivery. The next step in the product journey is product delivery. And yes, we are finally building it. This is like a fast-paced discovery, but nevertheless, we are building it. And when I say building it, I don't mean by building those features. I think in terms of metrics, like future engagement, revenue, or customer satisfaction. These are all our goals when we are building a solution. There's also a big opportunity in the product delivery to define and polish overall product strategy. The opportunities we choose to go after are what will differentiate the product on the market. So I'll focus today just on product design. So while you are working on the solution, you want to make your product decision based on sets of research activities. You don't want to jump into making that solution without that. So creating the solution from the data gathered up to this point is determining the look and feel of your future product. So defining those hooks, prototyping it, validating, and at the end, continuously improving. So design sprint, UX design, UI design, prototyping, animation, illustration, testing, and validating are all activities that blend into a product design scope. I'm going to show you just one of these parts. I'm going to talk about design sprint because we prefer to kick off a product delivery with a design sprint. It is a 3 to 5 day design framework that uses design thinking for validating ideas and solving challenges. So sprints reduce the risk in bringing a product to market in a fast pace. There is a whole concept based on the idea of rapid iteration and validation. Sprints are especially useful when kicking off new products and are also used to solve problems with an existing product. We can focus on specific flows and features and completely reimagine the experience. So it is a process of quickly creating a product future state and validating it with a group of users, stakeholders, developers, designers. So I choose sprints as a methodology, enjoy facilitating the group over the week. But those workshops are usually very intense. And so far, we held more than 40 design sprints with our clients, and they're proving to be a viable method for alignment with stakeholders and tool for a quick and cheap idea validation. But design sprints are not for every purpose. You don't need to use it every time. So how do you know if you should use a design sprint? Well, you should ask yourself a couple of questions. If you're launching a new product or extending web experience to mobile or reverse, you should probably use sprints. You could use them. If you have an MVP but need an injection of UX UI in your product, you should use them. If you're thinking of adding new feature and functionalities, you could use it. There's a great article or blog post that Marilyn Rebrovich did 2 days ago that he also aligned these when you could use a design sprint and when it's not the right time. So it's not a perfect tool, but if you know how to use it, it can help you a lot. And here's an example of our product where we use design sprints. Rosetta Stone is an education technology software company that develops language software. So it's a big brand back there in the States. And the project is an example of how long-term relationship and a good product strategy can make results. So we work together with them as a product team. And over the last 3 years, we redesigned the entire user experience with the goal of increasing revenue and core metrics. So we are using design sprints for a change validation and UX processes to build the best experience with the business results. So after the first sprints, these were the results. With the same marketing spend, we managed to nearly double up the revenue. We had many sprints since then, and the last 2 years of iterating experience with small changes, Rosetta Stone was named top 5 education app in the World Wide Web Awards, recognized in both the Google Play and App Store for its excellence. And in the last 2.5 years, on the project, we increase the revenue by 5. So that's like amazing. And when you're working like that with your clients and actually have these metrics by your side, when you are negotiating that they let you, they trust you with their product, it's easier than just having a beautiful design by your side. So let's jump from discovery to delivery. I firmly believe that digital products are never done. So imagine the moment when the first version of your products finally reaches the market and the customers engage with the product. So this is the moment when you need to understand how well your product meets the needs of that market. And at that point, you need to figure a way to track everything. So you should probably include all metrics and all the tools while you were producing that solution. And you need to analyze user behavior, test it, and use these findings to improve or pivot the product. So we usually define key metrics in delivery phase, but actually when the product hits the market, that is the better time to do it because you can see how the real users are using your product. So how to define key metrics for success? Well, you need to know what is the most critical aspect of your business and how you can change it. So maybe it's the increase in your conversion rate, maybe it's the higher number of visitors, maybe it's the greater number of users who are sharing some kind of content. Every product is different and you need to figure out for yourself what works for you. So for key metrics, I suggest you use ARR. It's a pirate startup metric model developed by Dave McClure in 2007. And you can also use similar model named Hard by Google. I'm going to focus on this AARR metric because it's hard to pronounce it. AAR stands for acquisition. You're thinking about where are your users coming from. Second A, it's activation. Are users having a happy first-time experience? Retention, do users keep coming back to your product? And revenue, are you making money while working on your product? At the end, referral, do users tell others? So this is like a holy grail when it comes to understanding your customers' day journey and optimizing your funnel, as well as setting valuable and actionable metric goals for your product. So now that we defined those metrics, one of the techniques that's used mostly in the product environment is growth hacking. So that's like a process of rapid experimentation across marketing funnels, product development, sales, and other areas of businesses. It's used to identify the most efficient ways to grow businesses. So the expression growth hacker was invented by Shane Ollis in 2010. So growth hacking is not focused on a specific method. It's about applying the best practices related to user acquisition, user retention, and effective measurement. The first step in determining your growth equation, it's strange when you see it like this on a slide, but you need to figure out where is the focus and to understand which metrics matter most for your product's growth. This is a really simple formula that represents all the key factors that will combine to drive your growth. So this equation is different for every product or business. So for Uber, the key metric should probably be the number of drivers. For Facebook, it's probably the number of items shared by users in their feed. So if you're thinking about your product, this is like how you can compare those metrics. And one of the books that had an immense impact on me from my school days was Carl Sagan's Cosmos. And he wrote in one of the sentences that's like most favorable quote, "Every star may be a sun to someone. It stayed with me as long as I remember as a guidance in life." But that's actually something that you need to have on your product. You need to have that star. It's usually called a North Star. So when we drive our product on market, we need to find that star that will shine the most and that will drive our product development, the complete team to that goal. And North Star is a metaphor as a navigational importance for driving a product. So North Star should be the metric that most accurately captures the core value you create for your customers. So to determine your North Star, you must ask yourself, which of the variables in your growth equation best represents the core experience you identify for your product? For example, for WhatsApp, that was a number of messages sent. For Airbnb, the North Star, it's nights booked. And I'm going to show you how we use growth techniques to help our client. Moonlight is a successful Kickstarter campaign product. It's an easy-to-use projector that clips right to your smartphone and uses the flashlight to make your child favorite tales come alive. So after we built the iOS and Android application, we focused on lowering acquisition cost and increasing the lifetime value of a customer. We also worked on growth marketing channels while maintaining stable return of ad spend metric. So without additional investment in the product improvement, we managed to reach targeted metrics by Facebook and Google channel optimization. So by improving creative, copy, and targeting via data science-driven approach with a focus on A/B testing, we increased average order value by 20% and user lifetime value by 50%. So first results showed 100% increase in the return of ad spend. And a couple of weeks ago, we pushed second version of application in store, and we are hoping to kind of increase those metrics as well. So this is like an overview of complete product journey in warp speed. We didn't tackle everything, but we kind of touched some of the most important methods, processes that you need to have in your mind, and while you're working on a product, to set that clear goal, what you want to do and why you want to do it. And I have a couple of minutes left. So I'm going to leave you with some of the key takeaways that I learned over the years. The first of all is about asking questions. Questioning is the ability to organize our thinking around what we don't know. So by questioning, we identify a problem or opportunity with challenge assumptions, and with good questioning, we can shift people's thinking. So I read somewhere that question serves as the best catalyst for a change. So you should use them every day. To design without research is to design blindly without any information. That's an absolutely necessary to make informed decisions in product environment today. So you need to get out there and fail early, fail fast, fail fearlessly. It's far better to fail early than to spend $5,000 on a product that nobody uses. And over the years, I've been working with some brilliant, hardworking minds, and I learned that the team is like a process. So there's no perfect process, but your team is like, without your team, you don't have a process. And the quality of product is always a reflection of a good team. So on your team, you need to have the right people with the right mindset. Sometimes you won't agree, but after you don't agree, you need to disagree and commit. I would say that the trust is the most fertile soil for a collaboration. So invest in good people, they will return with interest. And the last thing that I want to leave you with is that design is never done. There's no finish line, and there's always an opportunity to improve your product you're working on. So invest in those processes, invest in people, stop sometimes, ask yourself, why are you doing it? Why are we doing it? Is it really necessary? Do we need this feature? Is this feature going to take us a year to develop? Or we can kind of have some quick wins and maybe do some better, invest with our time. So question everything, yeah. There's no finish line. And hopefully you learned something today, took something, you're going to think about it. And if you have any questions, please shoot. Yeah.
Thank you, Vladimir. That was wonderful. Do we have any questions for him? We have several minutes available. All right.
Hi, a great talk.
Thanks.
Well, this is all fun and good, but when there are only like 2 people in a giant company that doing design, and you're doing front end for businesses, other businesses, and when you're doing your back end, how can you import everything you just said in that process? Because usually we have very little time to do all of it. So I can do the design and the UX, but very little UX. And the other guy is doing businesses with businesses.
Well, I can imagine how you are working. I've been there, and it's just a matter of figuring out what would work for you the best. You know, what process could improve your process. It's just a matter of that. So you need to kind of figure out what will give you the most value, and then you should say to your boss, or if you're the boss, to yourself, okay, we need to stop. We need to include this process. Just maybe quick idea validation or a user testing of some feature. That's like you can do it in a day. You know, within office or in a building next to your office, you could test everything. And with those small changes, when you see the result of the process you're implementing, then it's going to be easier to kind of to advocate for your wish to change things. It's going to be easier to kind of talk to your boss, or I don't know, or somebody you are working on. It's not easy. It's not like this is like most of the agencies are not working by this process. It's not happening like that. The product companies are working like this, and when you're in between and doing client work and working on a product, it's a mess. But then you need to figure out what of these methods is going to help you, and implement that, and step by step implement it day by day, more and more. Yeah, there's no simple answer.
Great talk, indeed. I used to work for the growth team of the company that I'm in right now, and my question is that you were like showing a lot of like end metrics validations of the experiments or the designs that you were mocking. How you validate the process, like, because it's like you do A/B testing, and if you do A/B testing, what are your kind of like advices on design around the A/B testing process?
Well, yeah, that's a hard question, because validation of the process is, it's really hard, because you decide on a process based on your experience or what you did before, and actually it's like, you know, it's like not an easy answer, because even if you do A/B testing, you're not sure if you're gonna, you know, at the end have a better result. It's like a long process, and you are not sure if you know, changing something in a variation is actually improving. So it's always a gamble. It's always a gamble. You know there are best practices. You implement that and actually work on that. If they are not working, then you kind of pivot the idea or try to figure out what's your best practice. So that's, you learn from the mistakes, I would say. I don't know, how did you do it?
We can talk later.
Okay.
We have time for one more question. I see.
Thank you, Vladimir, for a great talk. I was just going to add to the guy's question here. If you do A/B testing, in my experience, it's best and some other people suggest to do this. You test small things, not the whole templates or something like that. And in that way, you can do it fast. You don't need a lot of uzorak, kako se kaže uzorak? You don't need a large sample for this. So maybe testing small things, not just color button or something like that, but modules or something like that, placement, a copy or something like that. And this will bring you fast results, and also KPIs will go higher or lower very fast, and you can learn from that, yes.
Yeah, but at the end, it's really important how much traffic you have on the testing variation you have. So that's also, the big. It's something that's gonna either take you maybe a day or two to validate to see what's working, and maybe on some products you need a month, or months. So that's like, you need patience probably, or a great product to work in high speed, I would say,
Wonderful. Another round of applause. Thank you, Vladimir.